Hey guys, what's up? Back in the video for you guys. I'm gonna be doing a versus video again. I'm gonna be doing a Panera versus McDonald's. So without further ado, let's get on the video. So the first thing is uniform wise. Okay. So Panera had you wear you had to wear your hair up, obviously. You had to wear a black shirt, a plain black shirt, um, and jeans or black pants and non-slip shoes, because they give you a hat. They already provided you with a hat and a apron and a name tag. And then for the McDonald's I worked at, I got a t-shirt, and then I just wore any color, any pants. What they're called, non-slip shoes, and they also provided a hat and a name tag. So there's that too. And then how the register works. So at Panera, you are assigned your own till. You gotta count the money, make sure there's 200 there. I think it's 200. And then you have to count it before you leave, and there should be more. Make sure there's always 200 in your drawer, and then the rest goes to the manager. Sometimes what I would do is I would take all of the roll coins and just open all of them up. I would count them first, obviously, because then so I don't have to do it at the register. And I always liked having my at both places for me. If it's if it's my drawer, I always like the bills to face a certain way. So if there were if one bill was like this and the bill was like this, I would flip it over and put it like this. Or if most of them are like this, then I like them facing towards me, and I'll always know if someone used my drawer, because either the bill that they used or they they took, they flipped it upside down, and I'm just like, there was only one man. There was always one manager that did that. It was so annoying. You know who you are if you know who you are. If you even know I do my videos. So that was the one thing. And then with McDonald's, the only person that can so at both places, the only person that can use the drawer is you or a manager. That is it. It depends how it works. Because so at McDonald's, normally they have 2 registers. Normally. Or they have 1 open. But there's 2 registers, but there's only 1 open. At Panera, there's at least 3. At least 3. They did have 1 open by the bakery for phone-in orders. So that was they barely had that open though. And then you can put if you're training, you can put it in train mode, and you can just type, and you don't have to worry about it going to the kitchen. The fun part about Panera is what, unless it doesn't go to the kitchen, I remember one time, I forgot who it was. It was one of my coworkers. We literally took every single breakfast sandwich and see him. I remember when I used to train someone, I would always go to the teach them everything, because even though they were say they were learning, they were working at nights, I would show them both menus just in case someone they needed to come in the morning and during breakfast time, so they already knew the menu. And I was always the person that they would put on training when I was I was the best one. The good thing about when I kept going back to those jobs, I didn't have to retrain. I already knew what I was doing on register. I knew what I was doing on drive-thru. All this, that I already knew what I was doing. Because so drive-through from McDonald's and front counter from McDonald's, they're the same screen, except the drive-through one has two monitors, one to take orders, one to take cash. The one to take orders, it has lane 1 and lane 2. So if you're doing lane 1, you click lane 1, lane 2, you know, all that stuff. Nails. When I first started working there, they didn't care about my nails, that they were long. At both places, they didn't care. I can't do any of my nails without my nails. So like when I have short nails, I can't do anything. They have to be like somewhat long. This is short. This is not long for me. This is like medium size. They were longer when I was getting them done, and I was like, oh, they're too long. I might get them a little shorter next time, but I don't know yet. But yeah. And then with Panera, there's always a dishwasher person. Either at morning, at night, there's always a dishwasher person. You could not leave your position unless someone was like taking over you or watching it. Same with McDonald's. If you're scheduled to leave at a certain time, you have to wait until your replacement comes in. Unless you're on dining room. When I was on dining room, I love being on dining room because I could leave at my scheduled time, because the person that was scheduled dining room at night was always there, or was always like already there when I was there. So, but with being the cashier, they weren't always on time. So you had to stay a little, maybe an extra hour, extra 30 minutes. Yeah. And it sucks when you're working 2 jobs and you have to be at your other job in like 30 to 20 minutes. Thankfully, I was only working 1 job at a time. Except when I was working at both jobs. When I was working at Panera and my sammy, which was fine with me. But yeah. So, yeah. Oh, and then scheduling. So, scheduling and payday. So when I was working at Panera, it was every 2 weeks, and it was always on it was either on a Thursday or a Wednesday, depending. I forgot which one. No, it was Wednesday. And then when I was working at my McDonald's the first time, our payday was always Thursday, or Wednesday, or Wednesday night, or whatever. But yeah, and when I first started working at McDonald's, it was weekly. It was every week. And then they went, and then the company bought them out, and it was 2 weeks, and then it was back to 1 week, and then I guess some companies are different. But yeah. So it depends on where you work. It could be bi-weekly or weekly, just like when you, I don't know, but yeah. When you like have the interview, ask them a couple questions. Ask them what the pay rate is, and is it bi-weekly or weekly? Because some restaurants are different. So yeah. So that was the video. I know it was a little bit short. I just wanted to get something up quick. Let me know down below if you want me to like rate or like, you know, talk about any other restaurants I worked at. I worked at a lot of restaurants in the past 6 years. 6 years. No, 8 years. Sorry, 8 years since I've been living here. I've been living here for over 8 years. I worked mostly restaurant and fast food and whatnot. So if you want me to like do like a McDonald's, is probably the one that I would be like comparing it to, because that's where I work the most. Panera, not so much. I've only worked at Panera like 4 times. And I worked at McDonald's like, I don't know, 7, 8 times. I don't know. I can't keep track of it. But yeah, most of my versus would probably be McDonald's versus that's like McDonald's versus this, McDonald's versus that. So yeah, just keep an eye on repetitiveness, I guess. But comment down below what you want me to talk about in my next video, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye.